Hello everybody, it's Vinyl Rich here. Well, Vinyl Finds, yada yada yada. I don't remember which one. I got a couple of things I want to say before I start showing. I think I have 7 records. I've told you before, that's my magic number. First is the comments. I try to answer all the comments that people leave on my videos. Some do slip through the cracks, but recently I have found it's taken me longer to get to them. I used to check in on YouTube every day. Lately I'll skip 3 days and won't even go on the computer. And boy, when you check in after 3 days, there is such a backlog of YouTube videos to watch. It's like you can't watch them all, you know. But anyways, I'll go in there and I'll start answering the comments. And one video that I made, there's a few videos that I've made that I still get comments on. And I try to go and list, go and, answer those comments. Sometimes I forget. But one of the videos that people still leave comments on is the 100 Best Punk Albums video I made. And recently, I wrote it down on an envelope. Steve Carlson, I do the same thing. I usually don't write any notes, but I wanted to make sure I remembered these people. Billy Pop, he left a comment on that video, and he said, "Oh, if you like leftover crack, you should check out No Cash." I never heard it. I mean, the newer punk bands, that's not my knowledge. So I looked online. They don't have any vinyl. They did come out with a CD, so I bought it. And man, it sounds like, to me, it sounds a lot like Leftover Crack. The singer, it even sounds like the same guy. I don't think it is, but man, I really dig the CD. I'm not showing it because it's in my car. And my wife just went to get Chinese food. Oh, Chinese food. That reminds me about I got something to say about the Dave Chappelle special. Anyways, I like it, but the political angle kind of wears thin on me nowadays. I don't know if it's because I'm an old fart now, but when you get high school dropouts telling me how the world is, it kind of, okay, yeah, really, dude? Anyways, I dig the album. It's in my car. When I got it, I listened to it when I'm alone, not with the family. Pretty much a whole week straight, driving to work, coming back. It's a good one. Just like, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, a guy named Scott Connors, he left a comment on that video, and he was talking about the North Carolina bands, and son of a bitch. Well, whatever. I was going to pull some flyers and show them. I met a guy from, I think it was a band called Stillborn. But anyways, he was talking about, what about a Corrosion of Conformity? And so, you know what? I haven't listened to that album in a long time, so I pulled it out, Eye for an Eye. This is not a first press, but it's probably a second press. Came out in the 80s, and I hadn't listened to this in a long time. This is really good. It's more punk than this one, but I pulled them both out and listened to them both last night. And that's what's cool about that. That comments on that one, I'll get them quite often. And you know what? I haven't heard that album in a long time. Pull it out, give it a listen. Back to the Chinese food. Now, I guess Dave Chappelle's getting a lot of blowback from the social justice warriors, I guess you call them. I don't know. Because he's stereotyping transgenders, and he's stereotyping Asians, I guess. And it kind of reminded me of a story of when I went to this club in Montebello. I don't know if anybody's familiar with East LA area. Montebello is a suburb, East LA suburb, and there's a golf course there, and there's a club. It was called Quiet Canyon. I don't know. I think it's still in operation, and it was like a dance club, on Friday and Saturdays, I think, maybe Thursdays too. And I went there on occasion. The dance club scene really wasn't my thing. I mean, I pretty much dance the same to every song, that's my take. I never really took dancing all that serious. I mean, I can keep a beat, and I always had fun when I would go out with somebody. But anyways, I'm getting off the track. Went to Quiet Canyon, and it's basically, I would be maybe the only white dude there when I would go. There might be a couple of white chicks there, but not too many white people. It was mostly Mexican, probably, say Hispanic, but mostly back then it was mostly Mexican. And one time when I went there was this one Asian chick there. Man, beautiful. And I mean, and the thing that really stood out to me about her, man, she was a big-breasted Asian woman. And she was with a couple of Latinas. So I thought, man, I was getting a buzz, and I was with my friend Robert, and I said, you know what, man, I'm going to go talk to that Asian broad. She's pretty, So I went, introduced myself, and I go, you want to dance? I go, yeah. So we danced, and we got up speaking a conversation. My friend Robert came over, and there was 5 of us there, and we were all talking, and finally I asked the Asian gal, I don't remember her name, I go, can I have your phone number, And, maybe I'll give you a call, and, we can go out next weekend or whatever. And she goes, yeah. Sex, free sex tonight. Whoa. What's that? Sex, free sex tonight. Oh, shit. I go, come on, let's go. And one of her Latina friends goes, well, wait, what do you mean? Let's go. And I go, she wants to go have sex. And the Latina girl goes, no, she's giving you her phone number. Her phone number is 666-3629. And, okay, that's not funny, Pat. That's not woke. Well, you know what? What I got to say to all these people that are woke, I mean, it's not, I don't like being cruel to people, but I'd like to joke around. And some advice to you woke youngsters and you rich, middle class, upper class people, get some sleep, dude. It's not healthy to be that woke. Get a little sleep. But anyways, on to the records. The Michigan Record Club just showed this one. L7's new album, Scatter the Rats. Now, I listened to this last night too, and I actually fell asleep. I was pretty tired. And I don't remember. I mean, let's put it this way. It's a good album. They stick to their formula. The guitars are as crunchy and as great as ever. This version they signed. What was it? Pledge Music was going to put this out, and then they took the money and ran, I guess. And what's her name? The Blackheart Records came in. Joan Jett came in, and she said she would release it on her record label. And yeah, I would say this is probably the second best thing Joan Jett's ever done, Releasing this and producing the Germs album. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's got signatures by the girls. And it's a good album. It's not their best, but it's not their worst. And it comes with this. Oh, these are all the people that I guess supported him on that music, whatever is it, pledge? What is it? I've forgotten the name now. And it's got a picture of the gals. I highly recommend this. If you like L7, I highly recommend it. I mean, I have all the L7 records on vinyl. I figured I might as well get this one, and I did. And it's on black vinyl. Now, the Michigan Record Club's, his was on colored vinyl, so maybe mine's a bootleg. Next one I'm going to show is a 60s album. I remember hearing this back when it came out. Incense and Peppermints by the Strawberry Alarm Clock. This is their debut album. I remember hearing this when it came out, and I did not like the album. I mean, I was probably 10 maybe 11. But I love the song Incense and Peppermints. I mean, I still think that's a great song, you know. That, to me, that's a great psych classic. Some people are going to say, oh, that's just a radio friendly, but I don't know. Whatever, man. I think it's great. And the rest of the album does not sound like that at all. Now I can get into it. Like, The World's on Fire, it's a great start of a psychedelic album. But to these 10-year-old ears, it wasn't what I was expecting. But yeah, I'm glad I have this. I have all their albums now except for the second one. And I haven't heard that one in years either. I remember hearing that in the 70s when I was a little older. And it came off a little goofy to me. And I've never listened to it again. But I do have their third and fourth. And it's on the Uni label. One of my favorite labels. I'm not really a label guy. But that one is a pretty cool design. Now, I don't normally buy records that I already have. I have been recently, but it's for some VCLT. I have 3 people I need to send VCLT out to, and I procrastinate. Just ask Hannah. I mean, I take a long time before I send it out, and then I hope I don't break up any more relationships because of it, but I have this album here. Well, let me pull it right here. I pulled it out so I could get to it. This is a twofer. The Jimi Hendrix Are You Experienced and the Axis Bold as Love. That's all I had before. And it's the English version. And I've said it before. I think the US version of Are You Experienced is a better album. It's got better songs on it. Manic Depression. I mean, starts out with Purple Haze and then goes into Manic Depression. I mean, it's just fantastic. It doesn't have that Red House on it, which, I mean, it's a good song, but it's not as good as these other. I don't think. And this is a psych classic, dude. It's in the top 10. You know what I mean? And this is a very recent reissue. And it says, Are You Experienced on there? Well, I'll show the label because that's what Rich does. It's got a picture of him. Yeah, I don't know how that's going to come out, but yeah, it sounds fantastic. I guess the family is releasing this. I don't know. There's been a few reissues. But yeah, I bought an album that I have already, but it isn't quite the same. In fact, it's better, you know. And I think the cover's better too. But that's just me. What do I know? Now, I did mention that I have been buying some records that I already own because I'm going to send them out. VCLT. Usually I mean, most of my records are in pretty good shape, you know. If a record's not in good shape, I've gotten rid of it years ago. If I can't play, if it's not playable, what's the point? I'm limited on space. But I did buy this one for myself, and this one I have already. It's a different version, and it has the $5 postpaid from Discord on here. So it's an early press. It's not a first press. The first press it was plain black on the back. And it didn't have the song titles. And if I'm not mistaken, there might have been ones that said 350 or 450 before the 5. So it's not even a second press, I don't believe. But anyway, I saw it and I go, you know what, I'm going to get it. There are a few records that I do own that I have more than one copy of. And I think even the label is different. Oh, this is made in France. So this might be I don't know, one for the European market. I don't know. Now, I got one here. Micro Edge. It's a band from, I think, the Toronto area back in the 80s. This is basically it was a demo. Never got released on vinyl. It's a demo that these guys released here. And it's got 16 songs on it. Real fast. 83 it came out or was recorded. This was a very short-lived band from Canada. And I guess they were skaters. I don't know if they were straight edge or not, but this guy has an X on his hand right here, so maybe so. I don't know. But this is really good. I mean, I love this stuff that they're reissuing nowadays. That's, seeing the light of day for the first time. I love that stuff. I have been buying some new punk recently, which is something I hadn't done quite very often in the last 20, 30 years, but I do like these 80s, even late 70s stuff that's never been issued before. And I got one coming out that I thought would be here by now. They said it was going to be the 31st. But maybe it's the end of September it's coming out. But anyways, I'm rambling. It came with this little book, Skate Mag Bong Out, and I wasn't a skateboarder. I remember I had a skateboard in the 60s, and it was basically a 2x4 with 4 metal wheels. And when the skateboarding boom happened in Southern California in the 70s, I was not interested anymore. I was probably too stoned to ride a skateboard. Well, I don't know about that. But yeah, it's all skateboarding stuff, and it's actually was pretty entertaining. I read through this, and it's pretty good. And it's got a little info on the band in the very back, and yeah, really cool. It's on Ugly Pop Records. Oh, it's got this little insert also. I have a flyer of CH3 with that same exact illustration. And this is CH3 with Youth, and Micro Edge. Youth is another Toronto band, Canadian band. Pretty cool. And like I said, it's on Ugly Pop Records. They didn't make very many of these. I think it sold out at Ugly Pop. But if you buy it from Ugly Pop, you have to pay ridiculous amount of money for shipping because it's a Canadian label. But I think I got this from Sorry State Records. And that's the back. And it was relatively cheap. Sorry State Records is a good place to check out if you want to check out some punk. Now, my last video I showed my collection. There was a couple of things. I wasn't real happy with that video after I made it and I watched it. But I wasn't going to redo it again. I mean, I was kind of like, I wanted to compare doing it strictly alphabetical. I think the major pitfall of that is you can't find, bands like Micro Edge. If I had everything, man, what was the name of that? It was Edge. What was it? Straight Edge. I can't remember all these punk bands. And I've been buying a lot of Psych recently. And I can't remember all those stupid names either, you know. So I said, you know what? I'm going to break it up by genre. And the thing I didn't mention in that video, I have it broken up by genre, and it is alphabetical by genre. But the pitfall of breaking it up by genre is the gray areas. And I didn't touch on that in my video, and I wanted to. I mean, there are certain bands, like, I'll give the example of Blondie. Blondie was one of the first punk bands, New York punk bands there were. And their first album is punk. The second album has tendencies of punk. The third one is a great rock album. And then after that, they got very commercial, and they got very popular. So I decided I'm not going to keep them in my punk section anymore. In my punk section, it's mostly bands that never broke, never made the mainstream. I threw Blondie into my mainstream section. Now, the only exception to that is I still have the Clash up here. But anyways, that whole rant is because of this record here. This last section over here is all my comps, and I ran across this comp after I made that video, and man, there were so many comps that came out, and you can't get them all. I wish I would have gotten more of them, but this is a great one, man. This We Got Power was a fanzine, LA fanzine, and it's Mystic Records presents We Got Power, Party or Go Home album. It's got 20 songs on side A and 20 songs on side B, and it is just fantastic. I mean, it is a Southern California assault, and it's got great bands on here. You got Sin 34, you got Red Cross, Dr. No, White Flag, White Cross, The Fuck Ups, Ill Repute, Stalag 13. You got a lot of the Oxnard, but it's I didn't know it at the time, but it's also got a song by my friend's band, Lionel Lousy, Crankshaft. He's got a song on here. New Wave Homos. Talk about not being woke, huh? And it's on Mystic Records, on glorious black vinyl. And my final record is another punk album. Sorry all you psych heads. This is one I had to order from England, and it's Gutter Knife, and Boots on the Ground is the name of the album. It's a silk screened cover. I think it was limited to 300 this. It's sold out. You may be able to find it on some sites online, but I had it shipped from England. I've been listening and checking out a lot of the new French bands, and this is a new English Oi band. And it's got pictures of the fellas back here having a good old time, you know. And it's a really good album. This is the insert. I would suggest checking it out. I think it's going to be kind of hard to find, though. And it's got like 4 songs on each side, so it's pretty much an EP, I guess you could technically say. And it's on this real pretty blue. It brings out the blue in my eyes. Well, anyways, that's it. I hope I didn't go on too long, and I apologize for the Asian story. But that incident is true. I did meet this Asian gal, and I did get her phone number, and we did go out a few other times, and I guess back in the early 80s, breast implants weren't up to snuff as they are now. And man, let's just say I just couldn't continue having a relationship with her because, man, her boobs were harder than my dick. I mean, I think they filled them up with concrete, Anyways, take care, everybody. True story.